And now, A Twist of Fate by Bree Harvey.
We live in a small, precarious world. When my mother was a little girl in the old country, she never heard of Parlor City. Parlor City was the furthest thing in her world. Now, she was an intelligent child, a child who at the tender age of 10 already spoke 3 languages and was on the top of her class. A 10-year-old girl with a playful mind and a vivid imagination. She loved to read and play out the parts. She read by the droves. Books became her reality. A world of distant places, distant cultures, distant ideas. Powerful visions through the printed world of imagery used as a means to escape. Her life was in turmoil and dangerous. A time of war. Families were torn apart, and nothing was safe. The people one knew, seen on a day-to-day basis, became strangers and informants or saints. What seemed to be right turned wrong. What was up came down. The only safe reality for many, ironically, were on the printed page, bound by dreams. By the fragile age of 10, she had lost both her mother and father, was torn away from her loving uncle and raised by her elderly, grieving grandparents. Her world had transformed from an upper-middle-class home by the sea to a one-room basement apartment in the middle of the city. For a girl, she was not conventional, though. She was referred to as a tomboy, and to be sure, she lived up to that name. She climbed ropes, jumped fences, punched noses like a pro. Cowboys and Indians were played in the hallways of her building. She named herself Supreme Leader, the White Woodsman Hawkeye, leading the young boys in her building, now Mohicans, to their bloody destiny. Nothing was more cherished than a good pursuit or a narrow escape. James Fenimore Cooper was just one of the few writers who unknowingly partook in the rescue of my mother and the harsh reality she truly lived in. The world of the Mohican Indians was the favored realm of my mother's imagination, which she gratefully adopted. Years later, after she followed her beloved uncle to this country and settled down in Parlor City, did she notice the irony of her fate. The stories that graced her, the imaginary world she reenacted, the parallel setting that saved her soul, became her real home. For Parlor City is between the Susquehanna, the view from her living room window, and the Shenango, the rivers that were the settings for all the James Fenimore Cooper stories, the leather-stocking region of New York State. Small world.